the future, would the National Peace Accord Committee adopt a strategy to talk to these spokespersons, many of whom, all of whom, in fact, are your friends?
Well, everybody is my friend. I'm a friend of saints and I'm a friend of sinners. You know, my pastoral boundaries are limitless. But look, I don't think that's a solution to the problem, because in Nigeria, when there is a problem, you set up a committee. When there's another problem, you set up a committee to examine what the other committee recommended. We don't need to expand the work of the peace, the signing of the accord to include spokesperson, because spokesperson are what they are appointees. Now, the peace accord is actually for people who are participating in the process. But I hear you. I think that what we need to do, and again, one of the things we recommended, at the Justice Uwe's committee was this whole question of the two critical things. One, we recommended that there should be, a court dealing with these processes, so that even if you are a spokesperson, being a spokesman does not give you the right to abuse. And these people are behaving as if they have received licenses to be foul-mouthed, to speak disrespectfully to people. There is what you call deco. Really, there is an old man now in Jos Plateau State. His name is Yaya Kwande. He published his biography, and I was reading the biography. One of the things he said was that the reason why he and his cousin decided they must go to school was that they wanted to learn how to abuse in English. It stuck with me. It's as if, when you are choosing a spokesperson, that is actually your messenger. And there is a sense in which the political actors also must take full responsibility, fairly and squarely, for the nature of the messengers that they choose to deliver their messages. Because in very many respects, the way and manner that some of these spokespersons conduct themselves puts a lot of people off. So they're actually costing you more. And I think that, in my view, they have nothing to do with the signing of the peace accord, but everything to do with keeping to the line, to the boundaries of decency, and treating people and treating those who don't agree with them with the respect that they deserve. It's not too much to ask. And ordinarily, I think these people are all gentlemen. So you don't simply change a jersey because you become a spokesperson and then, develop this kind of toxic language that doesn't respect people.
Would appear to confirm earlier permutation that he would draw votes from you. Looking at the outcome of the election with the benefit of hindsight, do you regret the fact that you could not work together under a single platform? And secondly, I'm also wondering about your thoughts on the perception that the PDP seems to be in trouble today because of your insistence on contesting election at a time there was a clamor for a southern presidential candidate. What do you have to say, sir? Thank you.
We're taking the very last question. Yes.
Thank you. Your Excellency, sir, my name is Tony Aileme. I write for Business Day newspaper. Over the years, we have known how you had used the judiciary to change the course of so many issues across the country. But right now, Nigerians are wondering that the current judiciary that we have, there are issues around credibility. I don't know if you also believe that pursuing this course, you are likely to get justice from the system as it is right now. Or do you have any doubt? Are there issues that you want to consider around the judiciary, sir? Thank you.
Thank you. That's the end of the question series. Now we will call on the presidential candidates to respond accordingly. Thank you.
Well, first and foremost, about the Labour Party, whether at the time Peter decided to leave PDP and join Labour Party, we had not, I believe, begun our primary process. So the question of whether he was going to get a ticket or not, did not arise. Yes, agreed. That is a fact. He took our votes from the southeast and south-south. And that, of course, would not make him a president. Absolutely not. You all know that to be a president in this country, you need votes from everywhere. So as far as I'm concerned, Peter is welcome to dialogue with PDP. We are ready to dialogue with him. So I don't think we will have any problem if he wants to dialogue with PDP and either form an alliance or not. But I also want you to recall that I was the first candidate to say that because of the way Nigeria has been governed in the last 7 to 8 years, there has been deep divisions between north and south, east and west. And I said to Nigerians, if I happen to be elected president, the first thing I will do is to form a government of national unity. What do I mean by that? I mean, I will look at the performance of each political party and bring them into the government so that first and foremost, we reunify this country and bring about peace and stability. It is only when you do that, then you will be able to start developing the country, whether economically or otherwise. You cannot develop a country that is deeply divided, that is in crisis. So I was the first to commit to the formation of government of national unity. And I also have it on record that when I ran in 2019, I picked an Igbo man as a running mate, simply because I felt that after any other zone again, the next zone must be the southeast. In 2011, I also picked another Igbo man. And in 2023, I also picked another Igbo man. And I have always said that I will be a stepping stone to an Igbo presidency. Because there is no zone alone in this country that can produce a president on its own. I have always told my Igbo compatriots, I said, look, you negotiate for power. You don't fight for it. You negotiate for it. So, for anybody to think, that I have anything against Labour, I think Peter was in a rush. Do you know why I say he was in a rush? When the campaign started, and our PDP governors sat down and said they must produce the president amongst them. They must produce a vice president amongst them. They must produce a chief of staff amongst them. Peter got scared and left. I did not get scared. I stood up against the governors. When we formed this PDP, some of them perhaps were in secondary school or university. So why should I be afraid? So I stood up and I fought them. They fought me, yes, and I fought them. And I won the primaries. So if he was there, nothing could have stopped him from becoming, a running mate. Because I had the right to choose whoever I wanted, as my running mate. So the question of whether I will work with Peter or not, whether Peter wounded PDP, yes, to some extent he did, because all the votes he carried, there are PDP votes in the South and the Southeast. So that's true. But that's politics anyway. But whether, he will achieve his objective, by that or not, that is left to God to decide. So the next is the issue of judiciary. For those of you who don't read,